Today on The Young and the Restless, Lily gives Daniel tough love, Summer wants a favor from Maria, and Kyle hangs out with Audra. At Sharon's place, she sobs in Nick's arms that Cameron has their baby. She picks up her phone and recaps that he wants to meet her at the hotel. "He wants me alone. I have to go, Nick, it's the only way." Nick asks why he'd ever allow her to go alone. Sharon says, because of this. She shows him a photo of Faith bound and gagged. Nick's ready to go to the hotel and rip Cameron apart with his bare hands. Sharon argues he might put Faith in more danger. Victor knocks and Nick fumes that he'll get his dad's security team to back him up. Nick lets Victor in. The mustache is appalled to hear that Cameron has Faith. How did this happen? He tells Nick he'll give him an army to get Faith back. Sharon warns they can't go storming over there. That could be the most dangerous thing they could do. "I need to be the one to go. I've got to be the one to face Cameron, alone." At Society's bar, Daniel tells Lily he's afraid that the next time he sees his mom or his sister, they'll be behind bars. He explains that Summer's determined to keep Phyllis out of jail and is willing to go to any lengths to do it. He complains that his mom wants him to do whatever he can to keep Summer out of it. Lily questions how he's supposed to do that. Daniel shrugs, maybe she'll finally do the right thing. Although he can't see his mother turning herself in, she's on the run again. Lily's sorry he's stuck in the middle. She tells him as someone who's been to prison, it might not actually hurt for Phyllis to do some time. At the Abbott mansion, Summer confirms to Diane that she's known her mother was alive for a while now. Diane has already forgiven her. Summer thinks she might regret that when she knows the whole story. Diane's aware that she could have gotten the charges dropped against her and she's not okay with it, but she does understand that she was put into an impossible situation. "I'll even take it a step further. I'm going to do everything in my power to convince Kyle to forgive you too." Summer thanks her and takes responsibility. Diane says they all know it was Phyllis's psychotic plan that caused all this trouble. Summer stops her, "Please don't turn this into an attack against my mom." Summer rails that this was all Stark's master plan, and if you want to go all the way back to try and place blame, it was Diane who brought Jeremy into their lives. "You're the one who had history with him. You're the one who burned him." Diane argues he couldn't have faked Phyllis's death without her full participation. Summer counters that her mother was coerced, threatened, and maybe blackmailed. Diane can't believe that's what she's telling her, that she was blackmailed into that performance at the gala. Summer informs Diane that she's not innocent and she'll never let herself forget that. With that, Summer walks out. The Arctic community at the forefront of global warming. In the jazz lounge, Kyle sits at the bar drinking and replaying his confrontation with Summer in his mind. A drink is placed on the bar and a voice asks, "Is that seat taken?" It's Audra who says, "Kyle, right?" and reminds him they met at the gala. She wasn't sure if he remembered considering everything that happened, or should she say, didn't happen. Kyle confesses the rumors are probably true, but he's not in the business of discussing his personal life with strangers. Audra advocates for opening up to a stranger with no judgment. Kyle smirks, "That's very kind of you." Audra purrs, "I promise, I'm a very good listener." At Sharon's place, Victor and Nick caution her about walking into Cameron's trap alone. Victor says if she does it, she'll have to arm herself. Sharon warns that could be the trigger that sets him off. He's delusional enough to believe they have a future together, which means he won't harm her. But that's not true of anyone else who goes after him. "I am the only one who has the power to control the situation." Nick declares that if Sharon is going to meet with Cameron alone, she'll need to take precautions. "You're going to go in there with backup, and that includes me." Victor has the number of a special ops guy who specializes in rescue operations. He's going to call him right now. Before he leaves, he thanks Sharon for risking his life to save his granddaughter. Sharon tells Nick she's so afraid for Faith right now she could scream. She knows what Cameron is capable of. The thought of facing him again makes her sick to her stomach, but she doesn't have time for that. Our baby doesn't have time. In the jazz lounge, Kyle tells Audra he's wary of talking to her. He's not sure what she's really after. "From what I've heard, you have ambitions." Audra is flattered. She does consider herself an achiever. Kyle brings up her association with his brother-in-law, Noah. Audra says that's all in the past. He's moved on and found happiness. Kyle asks if she's found happiness. She responds, "Have you? You look like you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders." Kyle suggests she talk, and he'll listen. She gives him the rundown on her time in Geno City and her various jobs. She's happy at Newman but will see what opportunities present themselves. Ambition's not a dirty word to her. In fact, I think some people are afraid of their own desires. It's like they're afraid to admit how badly they want something. Kyle asks if they're still talking about jobs. Audra purrs, you tell me. At Crimson Lights, Maria needles Summer about Phyllis's death being a big lie. Summer just wants a tea, but Maria asks, what the hell were you thinking? Summer asks what she would have done if it were Sharon that needed protection. It's really easy to judge when you haven't been through it yourself. Maria concedes that if she thought she lost Sharon forever, she would do whatever was necessary. She still doesn't agree with what she did, however. After Summer gets her tea, Maria asks what kind of favor she wants to ask. Summer assumes Kyle has vented to her. Maria says he was far more gracious than she would have been. I hope you're not expecting me to take Phyllis's side in all of this. I encouraged Kyle to go to the police with what he knows. Summer asks if she's on their side as a couple. You believe we belong together. Maria guesses she wants her to convince Kyle to forgive her and Gops. Are you serious? She wonders if she's willing to take accountability for any of her actions. Summer pouts that she'll never see her any differently than she always has. At Sharon's place, Nick answers the door to Chance, who asks if something has happened. Sharon explains Cameron has faith, and is demanding she meet him at the hotel alone. Chance tells them he found a deed in Kirsten's suite to an old abandoned building outside of town. Nick says that property is close to the hotel where he wants to meet with Sharon. Sharon asks if Chance thinks that's where he's holding faith. At Society, Daniel asks Lily, so you think my mother should go to jail? Lily thinks she needs time alone to consider the consequences of her actions. Her stint changed her life. Daniel wouldn't wish that on anyone, let alone his own mother. Lily confesses there were days she didn't think she'd make it through, but it changed her perspective. It might be good for Phyllis to get a different perspective on things. In the jazz lounge, Kyle thanks Audra for distracting him from her problems. She's put out that she didn't get him talking, but maybe next time, if she's helped even a bit, she'll consider the night a success. Kyle tells her to have a good rest of the night and leaves. Audra smiles, and you do the same. At Sharon's place, Nick thinks the deed to the abandoned place found in Cameron's room is too easy, too convenient. Sharon realizes it could be another trap. Nick says someone needs to go check it out in case Faith is there. Chance will take a team to check and warns them not to go to the hotel. It's too dangerous. Once he's gone, Sharon tells Nick they can't take a chance that something will happen to their daughter if she doesn't show up. We're going to that hotel, they agree. At Crimson Lights, Maria tells Summer she's not going to turn this around on her. She'll be the first person to admit that she matured in a lot of ways. She really admires what an amazing mother she is to Harrison, but as much as you've grown up, you're still your mother's daughter. She's not sure Summer will ever be able to convince her that she's good enough for Kyle. Summer scoffs at her officiating the vow renewal when she despises the bride. Maria doesn't despise her, but she needs to take a hard look at what she's done. She deceived Kyle and hurt him and Diane so much. Maria offers her advice. Just give Kyle the time he needs. After what you did, it's going to take a lot to earn his forgiveness, as it should be. I don't know that you'll ever have his trust again, and you have no one to blame for that but yourself. At Sharon's place, Nick tells Sharon that he and the security team will be right behind her when she goes to the hotel, but she can't go in completely unarmed. Summer returns to the Abbott mansion and runs into Kyle. Hi, you're home. At Sharon's place, Nick produces a knife and wants her to tape it to her leg. It's a last resort, and he assures his ex-wife that Cameron won't lay a finger on her. He tapes the weapon to her leg. She is prepared to do whatever it takes to get their baby back. At Society, Daniel tells Lily with all due respect he really hopes it doesn't come down to prison for his mother or his sister. Lily thinks maybe she was just rationalizing and apologizes. Daniel reassures her. Lily asks, "Is there anything I can do to help?" Daniel doesn't even know what he can do. It feels like the whole situation is spiraling out of control. At the Abbott mansion, Summer chats to Kyle about Harrison. She then tells him she has a lot of things to say and asks to talk. Kyle says, "Not tonight." At Sharon's place, Nick tells her, "I believe in you." Sharon believes he'll be her backup and not let anything happen to her. She'll remain calm and strong and try not to get emotional. Nick is going up to the main house to coordinate and asks Sharon to meet him outside in 10 minutes. They hug quickly and he goes. Sharon fondles the knife taped to her leg and has her back to the stairs when Cameron appears behind her. "Hello, Sharon," she gasps and turns. Kirsten intones, "Everyone's gone, it's just you and me."